Plan B's, same as last year, consistently being told we're the best team in the league, but yet we're not top of the league.
Can I just come back on that then? Can I come back on that? Because I wholeheartedly believe that we are the best team in the league. Can you tell me, Joe, that we're not?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying,
but you've just said it's an excuse and said we're not top.
I'm reading out the list of excuses that have started to come out in the last couple of weeks. Now, we said at the start of the year, and the reason for this, Joe, is this. We said at the start of the year, no excuses. There's already a list like that.
So Farke hasn't used that as an excuse. We're the best team in the league.
No, but he keeps telling that other managers saying we're the best side in the league. It's like, well, then go prove it.
He doesn't say that. They say that. Do you think we are the best team in the league?
No, because we're not top, and we haven't been top yet this year.
So we're not. You're consistently hearing we're the best team in the league from others. The manager's never said that. I've said that.
Manager has said it.
Others have said it. I don't think the manager's gone in a press conference and said we're the best team in the league. He's never said that. Has he?
Yeah.
When did Farke say that?
The manager's saying that we're the best team in the league, but we've got to go and prove it. So he has said it, right? He has said it. Joe, the point of this is not. The point of this is not for me and you to have an argument back and forth.
I'm not arguing, bro. I'm not.
At the start of the year, me and you sat here and we had a one-on-one stream where we both said no excuses this year. We need to be in the top 2 by a certain time. We're not in the top 2 by a certain time.
No.
And there's a litany of excuses starting to be rolled in. And that's not okay anymore. Like a lot of these things we heard last year. I want to see progress. I want to see Leeds learn from last year and don't repeat those mistakes. And unfortunately, there are mistakes from last year. And again, I'm not saying sack the guy. I'm saying I'm holding him to account. We said no excuses. There's plenty already being dished out.
Okay. Can I ask you then, do you believe because Sunderland are top that they are the best team in this league?
Well, points per game total wise, yeah, they are. But they are.
So do you think they're better than Leeds United?
Did they beat Leeds?
Right. So can we... Right.
Did they beat Leeds and are they higher in the table than Leeds are?
No, they didn't beat Leeds.
Did we beat them? We didn't beat them.
We were miles better than them. We're miles better than them.
So if we finish third at the end of the season, we could turn around and say,
so why don't we then? Why don't we look at difficulty of fixtures? This is wild to say just because someone's top of the league at game week 13, that means they're suddenly the best in the league. So for example,
you're picking one thing out of the entire thing, and the entire point of that was just to say there are excuses being made which shouldn't be made. We shouldn't have any excuses anymore. We're arguing about that, and we shouldn't be. It's a clear point of something we said at the start.
No, we're not arguing. Honestly, I'm not arguing. I'm asking you if you believe that we are the best team in the league. You've said no, because we're not top.
And I look at points per game, and I look at points totals. And as it is right now, Sunderland are 4 points better off than we are after 14 matches. And when we played them, we didn't beat them. So how can you say that we're better than them at right now? Because
we are.
But lads, everything
I've watched us play them. I've watched us play them.
Opinion. Unless it's backed up by fact. And it's not backed up by fact.
I think, lads, I think 14 games in, being 4 points behind Sunderland, it's not as bad as, you read out all them points, all you say, Joe. But and you say Sunderland lost this many players and Sheffield lost this many players, but we're still in the mix with them. I think 4 point gap with 3 games to go, it's a disaster. I think a 4 point gap with 32 games to go, I feel like we're being compared to those other teams, but we're in the mix with them teams. They're not 15 points clear. We clawed back a 15-point gap last year. It's only 4 points. So all the teams you sort of compare us to them with us, we're in that mix still. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're not front and centre like Joe said, and like a lot of us said. We expected to be clear, but that's based off our levels of us expecting to win every game. But when you look at it, we're still in the mix. We're in that conversation. So I don't think it's that bad, mate. You know what I mean? And
I don't think, and come here, and this is what I keep trying to say. I've said it several times now.
It's funny because someone's just said there for 6 games, Preston were the best team in this league last season.
Great. So when we're 30 games in, we can say that again because we're 14 games in.
No, but by the logic, for 6 games of the season, Preston were better than Leicester, better than Leeds, better than Sunderland, better than Ipswich. Never were. But they were top of the league. I'm getting cooked and I'm thick as shit. And I'm embarrassing. Not to you. I'm saying this to chat because the top of the league were Preston for 6 games. So that must mean under Ryan Lowe, bearing in mind they finished about 5 points away from relegation, they were the best. They were better than Leicester, better than Leeds, better than Sunderland, better than everybody.
Well, hang on. That's like taking something from last year and applying it to this year. It doesn't apply.
You've said it.
Matches
up by facts, Joe. Backed up by facts. Preston were the best team in the league last season. Backed up by facts.
At that point, because you're talking about 6 games now, 14. We're 14 games in, Joe. We're Preston. It's a different. Joe, you're comparing apples and oranges now. You're talking about 6 matches versus where. No, you're not. Hang on, because this is now starting to wind me up. I don't know why I even agreed to do this. This is ridiculous.
Agreed to do what?
I'm reading out the list of things that are being said online as excuses after you said no excuses this year.
Yeah, but and I don't think saying we're the best team in the league is an excuse. What I don't understand. Jerry, I don't understand how that's an excuse.
You're saying that because Preston were top of the 6 games, that Leeds not being top of the 14 games is comparable. It's a different fucking thing. Well, completely different.
Why?
It's 1 quarter of a season versus 6 games, Joe.
Right, okay, but
it's a much bigger sample size. We played a good load of teams now. All right, that's why it's different. It's not the opening weeks of the season. It's the entirety of where we are right now. Yeah. And as it is right now, you're 4 points behind the league leaders. And when you played them, you didn't beat them. So Jesus Christ, am I the only one looking at this and saying statistically and based on fact, you weren't better than them and you're currently not. You might be in 4 games time. But right now,
did you watch Sunderland? Did you watch us play Sunderland? Yeah. Were we better than them?
We didn't win.
But were we better than them? I understand. Of course I do. Of course, Ger, I understand. Of course you had to win the game. We drew it because Meslier dropped the ball. So if Meslier didn't drop the ball, you would be sat here saying, yes, we were better than them.
Because we won, yeah. But that's a different
set. But you know that's... So,
Joe, you change an individual circumstance for any event that's ever happened, the outcome is different. You're talking about hypotheticals and trying to make them facts. They did. That mistake did happen, and Leeds didn't win. So therefore, whatever didn't happen isn't relevant because it will never happen. It's done.
Okay.
So why are we bringing hypotheticals into a conversation that's based on what we're looking at?
Because I think it's disingenuous to say that we weren't better than Sunderland. I think it's disingenuous, personally. If you watch that game, you would be able to see that Leeds were streets ahead of Sunderland, but they got a point.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that. All right. But let me just throw this back at you, right? Leeds go the rest of the season playing exactly as they did against Sunderland and don't get promoted because they lose and drop points. Is that okay, Joe? Because we're the best team in the league.
Joe. No, it's not.
But you've watched all these games and Leeds have dominated and been the best.
But we're 14 games in.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying if we're going to use hypotheticals, which we've been using for Preston after 6 matches, we're now.
No, but that's the same as what you're using now after 14 games.
Yeah, fine. Let's go forward with it then. Let's look at this and go. If Leeds don't get promoted, but play the way they played against Sunderland every single game, you'll be happy with that because we were the better side, but didn't win games.
No, because if I feel that if we played like we did against Sunderland, hypothetically, then over the course of the season we would win more than we'd lose.
Maybe, but we don't know.
Maybe.
Because last night on paper, we should have beaten Millwall. We should have 12 points from this 4 or 5 game block, but we're not going to have that. So walking into this, hypothetically speaking, when we looked at the block of games after the last international break, this was the run. This was Leeds' chance to close the gap, pick up some points and move forward. We haven't done it. So we could say that Leeds could be the best side for the remainder of the season and beat everyone off the park. But unless they find ways to win the game and put 3 points on the board in those games, it doesn't matter what they do on the park. Millwall were not the best side last night, but they won the game. Who do you think's happier going home? Leeds because we played lovely football, or them because they won the game? They will be. So Leeds need to find a way to win these games and stop carting out reasons why we're not winning games. Stop telling me there's an international break and that's why we didn't lose a game. Stop telling me that other managers say that we're very good. Stop telling me that it's 3 games in a week. Every manager has to deal with this stuff. And then stop saying I'm not making excuses and then making excuses. So that point I'm making is, if you look online, and it's only a small sample size because it is online, people are starting to regurgitating those comments now. Like people are saying
what the manager's saying.
Because the manager's saying it in press conferences. And now it's coming out and it's becoming the rhetoric behind the season of, well, this time we've conceded less goals than this time last year. Yeah. So we should be better then, shouldn't we? But we're not. We're in exactly the same position, 1 point difference. So all of these stuff is now getting dug out as the reasoning behind why we are where we are. And that's okay because of these reasons. But they're all excuses. If you've got 3 games in a week in the championship, every other manager has to deal with that. Figure it out and find a way to win those games. You're the manager. That's your job, is to figure out. Millwall came with a game plan. And we said that. Everyone knew what that game plan was going to be. Leeds apparently didn't. Because Leeds didn't deal with it. Leeds gave away free kicks consistently in the wrong areas last night. And didn't deal with big balls into the box. So
Lock it.
That's the problem. And that's what I'm saying. So you've got to look at all this stuff and go, well, hang on a second. If we said we were going to hold ourselves to a higher account this year, if we said the expectation level was higher this year, if we said we weren't going to accept excuses this year, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying the world's on fire. I'm sure we're going to be fine. I still think we get promoted. But I'm saying right now, looking at this, there's just problems there that need to be fixed and addressed. And they're not going to be fixed by saying, well, it was international break, so a lot of lads were away. Or, 3 games in a week, on the road a bit, lads are tired. Everyone has to deal with it. Everyone has to deal. Go and get the results. Go win the game of football. Find a way. That's all I'm saying. And this has got out of hand. But that's all I was trying to say was this is the list of excuses that have found their way online now and are now being regurgitated. And at the start of the season, everyone said, no excuses, go win the league.
So what stage then does it become untenable then?
I don't know. Maybe when you get to the end of December and if there's still a gap to the top 2, then maybe you look at it. But I don't expect Leeds to do anything in January, and we'll be where we are. But I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying sack the guy because it's when is too soon and when is too late. It's a very hard decision to make right now, especially trying to get promoted. Like, do you look at Leicester fans all last season? You want the Cooper gone, but like you got there in the end with him, so job done.
Yeah.
But Fracken may very well do this. He may very well hit 90 points or 80 something, whatever, and get promoted. He may easily do that. But there's things right now I would like to see tidied up.
That's fair.
I'm stop talking.
That is very fair. Sure. Thought we were going to have a straightening then, Joe.
Never me.
I know, I'm joking, pal. Let's bring in Lockie. Listen, what I